kind of lesson that I use when I'm working with businesses. I talk about the red arrows. I mean, everybody here, I'm sure, has seen the red arrows or knows the red arrows. They're a phenomenal, aerobatic display team. If you ever get the chance to listen to one of the Red Arrows speakers, a guy called Jazz Hawkins, who does a lot of speaking these days, and he talks about the Red Arrows. And he talks about how they use data and how they use the data to inform their debrief of the way they've performed and to change the way they're going to do things going forwards. Okay, so is that a massively integral part of building a successful organization? Yes, it is. Using that data, debriefing, understanding how you're going to do things better. But he also talks about the sense of team and the sense of one organization, and a big word that he uses, and this is really prevalent in a sporting environment, is trust, right? And he says the red arrows, no matter, we have all the data, we can analyze everything. If we don't have the trust between ourselves, he said, then we can't do what we do. So let me put this into context. And I call this the law of 400 plus 6. So the Red Arrows have 9 planes. So you have 9 pilots. So each pilot does 3 years and then is out. So every year, 3 pilots rotate out of the Red Arrows and 3 new ones come in. Now you think about what these guys are doing, how much trust you have to have on the 3 guys that are coming in to believe that you can still do the aerobatic displays that you were doing with 3 people that you just worked with for 3 years, right? You'd be super confident. When I asked Jazz, I said, how do you create that? He said, Richard, we've got this mentality. He said, we fly in a box, right? We just fly in a box. We think about flying in a box. So put it into context. That picture there, these guys are flying at 400 miles an hour. The distance from wingtip to wingtip, 6 feet. And you're going to do aerobatics. How confident would you have to be that the guy is not going to come out of his box? Because if they fly in boxes and they don't move out of the box, then the wings can't touch. If the wings don't touch, then they're not going to crash. Okay, so this is a great analogy for teams, right? So my challenge to every team that I work with, especially executive teams, is next time you're sitting in a boardroom and you're debating something, look around that boardroom and decide how many people on that board you would fly at 400 miles an hour, 6 feet away from. And if you look around that board table and you go, I'd fly with all of them, then I guarantee you've got a great team, you've got phenomenal trust, and you're part way to being successful. If you look around that board table and you go, I wouldn't fly 400 miles an hour, 6 feet from these guys for any money, then my suggestion is you go find yourself something to do differently, or you help them to go and find something to do differently, right? Because this is just a massive part. You cannot have a high-performance culture unless you've got that trust.